For more on the summit, Mohammad Ali joins us from Washington, D.C. He is a lecturer at Johns Hopkins University. Well, you just heard Daniel's story. It seems the message coming out of this latest gathering is a dedication to regional peace, political stability, and socio-economic collaboration. This organization came into existence in 2001. How would you say that message changes from what we heard early on? How has it evolved over the last couple of decades, would you say?
Well, the global situation has certainly changed over these past couple of decades. We have seen the rise of China having created insecurity within the US. Now we are living in the era of great power competition, which has certainly accentuated since the time that this regional bloc came into formation. Russia right now, of course, is going through its own, its own ordeal internationally because of what's happening in the Ukraine. So these, these are new developments. I mean, some of the other regional actors within SCO, I mean, Pakistan and India were brought in 2017, and there was hope that since this was led by China and Russia, who have now increasingly aligned over the past couple of years in particular, that they would be able to sort of, help hammer out some kind of an arrangement between India and Pakistan to avert the deadlock that had sort of made SAARC the other regional grouping for South Asia, where the two most powerful countries were at loggerheads and nothing much could happen. But with the SCO, right now, with India sent its foreign minister after, years. There was a, senior dignitary on Pakistani soil. But again, he was sort of hinting at Pakistan about like the cross-border issue and the restiveness in Kashmir. India and China also have had, particularly with 2020 and the Galwan Valley and their contention also within the disputed Himalayan region. So those remain challenges. We did see something concrete being said about Afghanistan, because in Afghanistan, despite the ostracization of the Taliban, and within their reign, we have seen the Islamic State having sort of created more space for itself. And that's a group that, China, India, Iran, the US, Pakistan, for everyone, that is a group that, creates restiveness and engages in unnecessary violence. It is not aligned to any separatist aspirations. Yeah. So that is a group around which all of these regional actors can coalesce.
Let me ask you about this. Can you talk to us about China's role as the current holder of the SCO rotating presidency? What will we see there? You talked about China's increased presence in this organization. What do you see moving forward?
Well, if I can sort of bifurcate my comment, I think one is, with the Chinese premier, Li Chang coming for a 4-day visit to Pakistan, the idea was because the Chinese workers have been targeted in Pakistan and Balochistan. There was this idea that, him coming here was a sign that despite the security concerns, China wants to move forward with the second phase of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, which is, has been labeled as the flagship of the BRI. So, so that is an issue in itself. And then secondly, there's been discussion of, sort of South-to-South collaboration, getting away from sort of the standardized structural adjustment, neoliberal policies of the IMF and World Bank, having alternative sources of funding, the desire to create a fund, for this particular grouping. So those are positive developments, but we'll have to see how they unfold. With Chinese lending around the world now, with the BRI, it has added to debt stress as well, in Africa, in South Asia, Because, I mean, with coming back to CPEC now, I mean, CPEC can be a great project, but it's not only about infrastructure. That infrastructure has to be used to generate economic growth, right? And that is something that has not happened.
Yeah.
And not only economic growth, but participatory economic growth, because then that would sort of pacify some of the restiveness that one sees around these big projects.
Yeah, economic growth does take time. You heard one of the sound bites from one of the participants saying the organization isn't just confined to security only now, environment, climate change, key ingredients as well. And this is the year of SEO, year of sustainable development as well. Can you talk to us about that type of focus?
Absolutely. I mean, of course, I mean, put together China and India and other populous countries like Pakistan, I mean, you're talking about a large chunk of the global population. While China has had, sort of tremendous success with poverty alleviation, there's a lot of inequality within India, despite its, attempt to showcase its economy. I mean, Pakistan has lackluster development indicators, but again, these investments coming into the country, if they are participatory, will we see the benefits trickling down? And climate is another big one. If we look at the sort of the threat of the shrinking glaciers, I mean, let's remember the mighty Indus, where India is the upper riparian and Pakistan is the lower riparian. It originates in the territory of Tibet. Right, so there is, and if we see those glaciers shrinking, I mean, the Indus, I mean, is a river system on which the lives of millions and millions and millions of people depend, and you have these two countries which are already at loggerheads. So, with water supply dwindling, I mean, we could see this kind of threat exacerbation, and there is this idea that with climate change, we need to think of not only just merely the bifurcation of the Indus River system, which is what happened between India and Pakistan, brokered in 1960 by the World Bank, but we need to think of the Indus Basin in a more holistic manner. So so how these countries are able to come together, to cooperate, to share data would become increasingly important. I mean, things like air pollution, I mean, that also has no regard for political borders, no matter how militarized they are.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Such great insights. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.